He's back. And he picked the perfect month to come back because February is National Pet Dental Health Month. He is the inventor of a product. You must check it out for your dog. It's called Yummy Combs, and the co-founder of Pet's Best Life. Please welcome back to our show, Dr. Joe Rately. Welcome back, Dr. Joe.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always great to be here, and it's interesting to realize that National Pet Dental Health Month has been going on now since 1993. That's about 30 years, if my math is correct this morning.
31 for 24. There you go. Yep. Hey, everyone. I love this guy because he's on a mission. You want a doggy kiss? You don't want doggy breath. Yuck. But beyond the odor, it's kind of a cry for help from the body that something's going on in the mouth or in the body that needs veterinary care. Right, Dr. Joe?
That is correct. And I have a little piece here, if I could, this morning.
Sure.
From Dr. Jan Bellows.
Now, he's a great dental veterinarian. He's legend.
He really is. And we've worked with him quite a bit, and he's done a lot for us over the years. And he was one of the primary people that helped put together the VOHC seal for tartar and plaque removal.
And let me interject. For those that don't know VOHC, please tell everybody what that represents, because that's a pretty big deal.
It's the Veterinary Oral Health Council seal of approval. And to get that seal requires extensive testing of the product to confirm, to prove that it in fact works. It's not just dental on the bag. It's testing. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars doing the testing to get that. And that's fairly typical. It's an expensive process,
but it's worth it.
It is worth it. It divides products kind of between we tested and this is true that it does what it says versus it says dental on the bag. That can mean a lot of things to a lot of people.
So what did the great Dr. Jan Bellows tell you?
Well, here's what he said. The surprising link, how gum problems in dogs can affect their other organs. When we think about our furry friends' health, issues like periodontal disease might not be the first thing that comes to mind. However, like humans, dog gum problems can have far-reaching effects beyond their mouth. Periodontal disease, especially gum disease, can be harmful to vital organs in the dog's body. So let's dive in, he says. You might know that bad breath and red gums can be signs of gum disease, but there's more to it than that. Periodontal disease is a common problem in dogs where the gums and tissue supporting teeth get inflamed. But here's the twist. This inflammation doesn't just stay in the mouth. Recent research suggests that inflammation and bacteria from gum disease can find their way to the bloodstream and travel to other parts of the body. This is where the real trouble begins. Dogs' vital organs, like their heart, liver, and kidneys, are like engines that keep their bodies running smoothly. Imagine if something disrupted the engine's function. The whole system be at risk. Well, that's what happens when gum disease enters the picture. The chronic inflammation caused by gum problems can worsen existing issues in these vital organs and even contribute to new problems. For instance, imagine if bacteria from the mouth hitched a ride to the heart. This could lead to a condition called endocarditis, which is the inflammation of the heart's inner lining. Or think about those bacteria causing trouble in the liver and kidneys, affecting their ability to do their essential jobs. It's like a domino effect, one problem leading to another. And the surprising connection between gum disease and its potential harm to dogs' vital organs. Don't underestimate it.
Amen, Dr. Jan Bellows, and you, Dr. Joe Rately. I mean, I teach pet first aid. I'm a master instructor. And one of the things we really emphasize is once a week doing a head-to-tail health check on your pet, looking, listening, smelling, and safely touching. And I tell my students, hey, if your dog has doggy breath or your cat, you need to get that checked out because there could be problems with the gums. But you're right. the body's organs. It's a cry for help, isn't it? It's the backdraft of an organ not doing so well, right?
Yeah. I tell it a little differently than Dr.
Okay.
Ellis does. I say, once the gum disease gets going and the gums start to bleed a little bit, that opens up the circulatory system where the blood vessels are exposed. And those bad guy organisms make the blood vessels a racetrack to the vital organs. And they make a fast trip there. And that's where they do their real damage. The mouth, the smell and stuff, that's somewhat superficial versus the vital organ.
I like that. What a
really
good analogy, a racetrack. Yeah. So people need to know that Dr. Joe Rately is, he has a company with his wife, Judy, called Pet's Best Life. And the company has made, we're going to dive in, these honeycomb-shaped dental chews that are safe for your pet called Yummies. But the man, we got to always have to say this, your backstory. You weren't founder of the Reddies. Just kidding. You're founder of the what? Come on.
Okay. My wife and I conceived and commercialized Greenies. We also commercialized Pill Pockets prior to that. And
so this is your third triumph, Yummies.
Well, yes. And a lot of what happens when you're doing these kind of things is you learn as you go. And so as I did the other products, I had ideas and I said, well, that's another problem that needs to be addressed. And so that's kind of how Yummy Combs really came about. And then I was kind of thinking about this after our non-compete was up with Mars. And I had this lightning bolt flash one day. Wait
a minute. I think you had this when a bzzz was running by you. Come on, give credit to the bee.
The bees were running by, and I just had this flash that I could address oral care, safety, and nutrition, all with one product if I changed the shape immensely. And that's how Yummy Combs came about. I say that it's kind of a hybrid between a hexagonal hockey puck and the interior of a bee's nest. And so when you put that together, I say Yummy Combs is hybrid wellness, because wellness basically is combining two or more things to get a better outcome. And that's really what Yummy Combs does.
I got to tell you, I have a little dog named Emma. She's a big, mighty 9 pounds. And I got a Kona, pet safety dog Kona. She's about 35 pounds. And I give them those regularly. And what I like, and we're going to dive more in after the break, but your product doesn't enable a pet to choke. Tell us why.
Well, what we've done, and I grew up when I was 4 years old, my dog got killed in a farm accident. Accidental things happened, and it did. And that has left a big scar in my heart.
Yeah.
But dogs also can choke on lots of things. I've heard of dogs choking on tennis balls.
Yes.
And a lot of things. But what we've tried to do here is we've made Yummy Combs wider than the throat opening size of weight classes of dogs.
Good.
So the dog cannot swallow it without chewing on it some first. But we went 3 steps further than that. We also have very thin walls, so that dissolves quickly. Think of a real thin piece of ice versus a cube of ice. How
exactly
fast that melts. Or another one is, think of a slice of bacon when you fry it versus a roast. How long does it take to do the roast versus that? That's what thinness does here too. It helps us get dissolving much faster. We've got an ingredient in it that then spurs it even more. And our biochemist, he is now 88 years old, but active yet. He came up with something we call Slickum. And it's a combination of ingredients that we put into the formula that when it gets wet by water or saliva becomes very, very, very slippery. And if a dog does have a chunk of a Yummy Comb in its throat and the natural instinct is to cough, it will generally expel it right out of the mouth just because it's so slippery. It can go there, not hang on.
Yeah, he just talked about spit saving the life of your pet. We're talking with Dr. Joe Rately. He is the co-founder of Pet's Best Life. He is the co-inventor of Yummies Combs. And with his wife, Judy, want to do a shout out to Judy. Come on, be a good hubby.
Hey, Judy, keep going, keep going. Here we go. Hang on.
How long have you two been an item?
We celebrated our 50th year in June of this year.
Wow.
And we have worked side by side as entrepreneurs for over 25 years now. And so when you live and work with somebody basically 24 hours a day, there's no release. So you better get along.
I think your statements is validated. You are a good power couple. Hey, this is a big deal. And in 2023, it was the first year. Let me mark the date down, June 22nd, every year now, moving forward, in part to an integrative veterinarian by the name of Dr. Judy Morgan, has started a holiday called National Pet Prevent Choking Day. Yep. And because I'm not a fan of some things that we want our dogs to gnaw on, dogs do chew to self-calm and to deal with boredom. But talk about that, because choking, there's how many deaths? Over 200,000 a year from pets choking.
I've seen estimates of 200 to 250,000 pets choking a year. Now, that doesn't mean they're all from dog treats or anything like that, but that does occur. I talked with another vet from California about 3 weeks ago, and he's in a relatively large, not huge, veterinary clinic, and he says that they average almost one dog a day coming in with a choking issue.
So help us out, because dogs like to chew. So talk about Yummy Combs, and it's doing a dual purpose, because you've got the dental bennies, but you're also preventing choking.
This very revolutionary shape, because almost all the treats out there, if you really look at them, they're pretty much rod shaped.
Yeah.
Shape, whatever you want to call that. And that gets tricky when the dog tries to swallow it and it gets hung up in the curvature of the throat and esophagus. And then you've got a real problem. And it's very traumatic to the dog, to the owner, to the veterinarian that's working on it, because you're now working on a time clock that's going very, very fast. You got to get this corrected.
Yeah, because it can't breathe.
Yes, exactly. So we have basically tried to take what I have been able to put together and make it so it dissolves quickly from 2 points. One is the thin nature of it, and the second one is an ingredient that we use to hasten dissolving. And then the third part of that is simply this slick that
I love that term. Slick 'em.
Because I know if you lay a Yummy Combs on the table wet, you have a heck of a time picking a large or next to large up, because they got enough weight. They'll just want to slip out of your hand. And that's very, very beneficial if a dog has a chunk in their throat. You've got it lubricated in effect to where the dog's natural instinct when it has something in its throat is to cough. And they can expel it right out of their mouth that way. And that's really important. It's also very, very important that we started talking about it, National Dental Health Month, and getting these teeth cleaned up. And Yummy Combs is the first, and to my knowledge, the only treat that can floss 360 degrees around the teeth and scrub them at the same time down to the gum line. And the good news is that has been sufficient that we have earned the VOHC seal of acceptance for tartar removal, which is important. Get rid of that tartar before the bad guys get built up too much in there. The second thing that it has done this summer, we did
they had a study, right? You had a study.
Independent clinical study where we looked at not will it clean the teeth or keep the tartar off the teeth, will it remove hardened calculus? There's been a number of articles.
And slow down for a second. So tell us the difference between tartar and calculus. Okay. And I'm not talking about the math topic.
Yeah. From a tooth perspective, they really are the same thing. Now, plaque is the starting point. That's the sticky, gooey stuff on the teeth, but that then hardens into this hard tartar or calculus, whichever you prefer. And what people said, it's impossible for a treat to remove hardened tartar from the teeth. Well, we proved that wrong this summer, because independent third-party study done by or led by 2 board-certified veterinary dentists showed over 25% removal of hardened tartar from teeth, plus a 46% improvement in breath. And that has never been done before. In fact,
Well, is this where we say Dr. Joe and Judy Rately take a play bow?
No,
And applause.
we have more work to do.
Okay.
There are more things that we want to do to help pets. That's really the reason we named the company Pets Best Life, is because the name and its mission are identical.
Gotcha.
All about helping the pets have a better life. That's what we do. And that's how we wind up with 91 attributes, beneficial attributes in Yummy Combs. It's huge. It's almost incomprehensible, but we'll go through that. And on some of our future, I'm putting together a podcast of my own, and Artie's going to be on there with me, hopefully before too long. And
I would like to be. Yeah.
We'll be doing some of those things. The podcast is named Happy Tales by Mojo, because I am from the state of Missouri. That's M-O. And my first name is Joe, and I just leave the O off. So it's kind of the action item of Mojo plus the combination of Missouri and Joe. But we'll be talking about those. It's fascinating, all the things, and it's almost all related to the shape. Either it's the shape doing something, or it's the shape being packed with the nutrition and things that put together to make it into a great story.
So what do you do when you wake up every day? What is your mindset? Because you are a serial entrepreneur. Same with your wife, Judy. You guys keep inventing, keep improving. Where did you get that spirit?
So I wake up and I have cereal, and so then I become a serial entrepreneur. I guess it works like that or something. No, I wake up at night a lot of times in the middle of the night, having thought of something and not been able to resolve how to do it. And I wake up in the middle of the night with this to brainstorm. And if I don't write it down by morning, I've forgotten part of it. I know I had this great idea, but what in the heck was it? So I have to write it down.
Do you think maybe when you're sleeping, you're relaxed and your brain is more open to things, because during the day we're kind of being tugged in all directions?
Yeah, our life is basically a rat race. Or another way I'd put it, people ask me, how's your day been? And I say, well, we've been to the top of Mount Everest about 6 times, and the bottom of Death Valley the equal number of times. And it's just a roller coaster, but it's fun. I enjoy it. There's the good moments. There's the not so good moments, but we try to enjoy it and make fun out of life.
So we've got about a minute left, Dr. Joe. Who's your current dogs that you have right now, and how are their teeth?
Oh, their teeth are doing great. We have Tilly. She's about a 40-pound Australian Shepherd. She's the energy battery of the world, you know?
Right.
And then we have a little dog. He's a Havishon, half Havanese, half Bichon. That's kind of Judy's dog. She picked it out.
What's her name?
Named it. Well, I kind of paid for it. So she named it Bentley. So my statement is, I bought my wife a Bentley, and I really did.
You don't have to put gas in that tank, though.
No. He's a little cuddler, and he's a lot of fun.
So how do people find out more about Yummy Combs and Pets Best Life, Dr. Joe?
Okay, we just overhauled our website. It's Pets Best Life, PETSBESTLIFE.com. You also get there by yummycombs.com.
That sounds great.
Those have been put together recently. There's a lot of data on there. In fact, the piece that I shared with you at the beginning from Dr. Bellows, that's the opening on our dental page for that. And then it goes into more detail about what's all the literature backing up what we're saying, because I'm a big believer in validating statements, not just throwing statements out there.
Well, good. You're talking to an ex-newspaper investigative reporter who was told, if your mother tells you she loves you, check it out. So everybody check out Yummy Combs, because they have science behind them.
Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life. Make sure to subscribe so you're up to date with all of our Four-Legged Life content.